Good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming to class. Um, and as always, we can start in a chair. If your body allows, go ahead and grab one or two of your yoga blocks and go ahead and sit in this variation of hero pose. Now, I know for my one student, one or two blocks. My one student out here doesn't have any blocks yet. So I would just sit comfortably on the floor, and that's for everyone. If hero pose doesn't work, sit comfortably with your knees crossed. You can sit with your legs out, or ideally bent, so that you're not straining your lower back. And then just come on and find a seat. It's getting a little warmer out here. Not too bad. So as we start to sit, whenever we start our yoga classes, right, we really want to find our alignment. And I love hero pose. I'm sitting on one block, but I've got it up at second level. I love to find that alignment of the spine. So tailbone, right? Our tailbone starts to drop down no matter how you're sitting. And then the whole spine starts to move up and out. The shoulders go to the side body. The head moves back in space so that it is sitting directly over the neck, over the center of the chest, instead of forward. And then we settle in, right? So I feel my sit bones on the block. I feel the shoulders starting to move, and just moving the shoulders to the side body allows that chest to rise a little bit, the belly to tone in a little bit. And then maybe you close your eyes. And maybe you find your breath. We're moving into the fall season for most of us, depending on where you live. We're starting to get that cooler weather, hopefully. And we want to pay attention to our breath, to our respiratory system, so that as we move into cold and flu seasons, we are breathing as best we can and keeping our lungs nice and healthy. So let's take one hand to our chest, shoulders to the side body. Mine seem to be wanting to roll forward this morning. So the hand to the center of your chest, I want you to take a deep inhale and feel this hand press out with the chest. Big deep breath, big deep breath. And exhale, but let the chest stay high if you can. In other words, don't collapse everything forward. And inhale, deep breath. And exhale. Good. This time, if you can, and if it is okay for you, I want you to pause at the top of the inhale. And just pause for a couple of counts, 2 or 3, and then exhale it out. And as you exhale out all the way. Make sure you get all the way to the bottom of the lungs. Good. 3 more. Pause at the top, big round chest, spread out the ribs. Exhale. And exhale it. Good. Last one. And exhale, let it go. And release that. And then again, always switch out these legs. If you start to feel yucky or your ankles are starting to hurt because they're kind of flat, just take those legs out from under you. Inhale, take the arms up. Exhale to your chest, interlace and press out and round the shoulders, but don't kind of sink in. Just round the shoulders forward and press, and then reach up. And exhale right to your chest. Inhale, take it up. Exhale it down. One more here. Inhale. Exhale. Turn the palms in and bring them in. Open up that chest. Roll the shoulders back and press the arms forward. Whew, good. Turn the palms up. Find your breath, soften through your neck, your chest, your shoulders, and then let one hand come down, take the other hand up. If you're up on 1 or 2 blocks, be mindful, right? You're up a little higher than you're used to. So breathe, stretch out that side body. Now, while you're here, I want you to take a deep breath. Inhale and exhale. Good. One more. Take a deep breath in and exhale. And then push off that hand. Take it up. Exhale the other way, stretching out those muscles through the ribs, through the chest. So now you're here. Inhale, deep breath. Exhale it out. When you take a deep breath, you should feel those side ribs just wide open. Inhale and exhale. And then reach up, press up, exhale all the way down and roll it out. If you're sitting on blocks, and even if you're not, go ahead and take one foot out. So if you're not on block, right, you might be cross-legged and one foot is in front or your leg is straight. But if you're still up on block and that ankle can still handle, ankle and foot can handle that, just take one foot up and flex your ankle. Nice strong flex. Be mindful if you've had an Achilles injury anytime in the recent past, but then just stretch it out. Hands around that knee, press your chest forward. Take a nice deep breath. And exhale it out. Good. One more big deep breath, everybody. Inhale. Exhale. And then same side leg, walk that foot out and point your toes as much as you can. The toes don't have to touch. If you get a cramp in your calf, just flex it out a couple times. But just point really strongly so that we stretch the front of that foot. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, if it's okay again for your back, take those hands forward. You can either take them in front of you, you can wrap them around that leg. Breathe. You should feel a big stretch for the front of the ankle, the front of the shin. And then press it all the way back up. Good. And switch sides. Bring the other leg out. I love doing these kinds of versions of hero pose here where we can work with the ankles and still have this really nice alignment of the spine. So the other foot is out. Go ahead and flex. Remember, you don't have to be sitting on a block. Your foot doesn't have to be back. Nice strong flex here. Just feel that. Find your breath. Whew. Breathe and release it. Shake it out. Walk that foot forward. Press. I know I forgot to squeeze in a little bit, but that's all right. So press the foot forward. Plant the toes. Feel that nice stretch. Does everybody feel that? We don't stretch this part of the ankle a whole lot. You know, we're always walking flex, but we're not walking stretch. So inhale, take it up. Exhale, choice is yours. You can keep it really neutral. You can walk it forward. You can wrap your arms underneath. Just a nice round, soft back, no pain here at all. Keep the toes pointing toward the ground. Deep breath. Good, release, come on up. Just bring that foot in a little because I forgot to do that side. Hands wrapped around, move your chest forward, take a deep breath. Exhale. You know, they say what we don't use, we lose, right? So we want to use these lungs. We want to fill them up. Good, one more. And exhale it out. Good. And release, take it back. We got one more, one more. This is again going to be optional. One, you're going to keep this out where it feels comfortable and okay. If your knee allows, walk that foot in and then lean forward a little bit. Again, please trust your body. This may or may not feel good to you. So again, we're working with the back of the heel, the back of the Achilles, the attachment to the calf muscle. Stretching it, that is another area we don't stretch as much as we flex. Breathe. Good, come on up. Release. That's a sweet stretch and switch. And then we're going to be done with this part of it. So the other thing, right? Again, depending on what your knee can handle, you can walk that heel back. And then as you lean forward, you're going to get a deeper stretch. No kidding. Ooh, and you're going to feel which side you tend to use more. Breathe, just soft, we never want to go for that 100% big stretch thing, right? We want to find the first stretch and just pause and consider there. Deep breath. And release it. Oh, goodness gracious. Good. Take both feet out. Now, I didn't say that, but if you were in a chair for all of that, right, we would have been doing this and then walking the foot back and stretching. Come on off your block, everyone. You can set those blocks up in front of you for now if you have them. And again, don't worry about it if you don't, right? Blocks are a wonderful, wonderful thing though. And if you're on your hands and knees and you would like to have a blanket underneath your knees because you need a little more cushion, go ahead and grab your blanket. So you're in table pose here. If you're using a chair, your hands are on your chair, and a little bit of cat-cow. Just an exhale as you squeeze everything into center. And then as the tailbone releases, low back, mid back, upper back, and then the chin. Good. Exhale, let it all go. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale down. We've got one more here. Inhale. And exhale. And then a nice neutral spine. We're still in table pose. Maybe claw the fingers, the fingertips down a little bit. And then imagine your inner elbow right here, right? That inner elbow, if you need to see it, right? It's that inner elbow. And I want you to take the inner elbow and the bicep muscle and just turn it toward your thumbs on both sides. So we call it taking the eye of the elbow toward the thumbs so that the upper shoulders release. And then draw the shoulder blades down your back and feel how much muscle energy, how much engagement there is around the shoulder joints when we do that. Claw the fingers in a little bit, press the right leg back. Inhale into your belly and then lift that leg. Keep the eyes of the elbows pointing toward your thumbs or your bicep muscle pointing toward your thumbs. Don't over rotate. We don't want the elbows pointing forward. And then release the left arm. I know that's some new cueing for my wonderful yogis that have been with me for a while, but you're going to see how that makes sense in just a minute. Breathe, flex your foot, reach the arm, draw the shoulder blade back. I know. So instead of reaching as far forward with that arm as you can, pull the shoulder blade back just a little bit. And then take the left arm out to the side, optional. Palm is face down. And then finally, optional if you want to take that hand behind your waist. Good, breathe. What's happening with that standing arm, right? That standing hand, the standing wrist. Can you press out of that and draw the shoulder blade back? Release your left arm, release your right knee. I know. And then press back and take some of the pressure off of those wrists. Deep breath, everybody. Come on up. Come on up. Table pose again. Same thing, other side. So now I'm focused on this left arm. I'm going to move the eye of that elbow to the thumb, the bicep muscle pointing toward that thumb. The left leg goes out, the belly tones in. I even fire up that glute muscle a little bit. And then lift the leg. And see if you can draw the shoulder blade down a little bit. Find your breath. It's optional to take the right arm out, right? Balancing table. Super good core yoga pose. Works the whole body really. But focus on the left arm. Keep the elbow pointing toward the thumb. Draw the shoulder blade back. Feel these back muscles working And then take the right arm out to the side. And then optional again, turn the palm up and bring it behind your back. Big deep breath. And release that right arm. Release the knee. Walk the hands forward and find puppy stretch. So puppy stretch, you're planting those arms. The inner elbows can face your thumb. You stretch back. Maybe the forehead comes to the floor. Deep breath. And then come on up, walk those hands back, and then go ahead and pivot onto your left hip. I'm going to mirror here. And again, I know at least one of you working with an injury on the side. I don't think it's the left side, but if that hurts, go to the other side and either do that side twice or just be gentle with your body. So you're on your hand. You're on your hand. And the first thing I want you to play with is this kind of sway of the underside by pulling that in. And then look at your hand and turn the inner elbow toward your thumb or your bicep muscle toward your thumb. And then press into the fingertips and feel how you can really move away from the hand. Do y'all feel that? Right? And it's kind of interesting because if you drop the shoulder up to the ear and that shoulder rolls forward, versus pressing the shoulder back, pressing into the hand, moving the ribs out of the way, we start to feel this action on the underside. And this is kind of a basis for plank, for down dog, for all kinds of things of learning to draw that shoulder back and then finding the engagement at the side back muscles. So just feel that. So 1, you're here. 2, the knees are stacked, your hand is on your hip, you're looking kind of sassy here. Draw the ribs in and lift the hip off the floor. And notice if you lose the shoulder. Notice if the shoulder rolls forward. Keep the inner elbow facing the thumb. Keep the shoulder rolled back. Engage the shoulder blade and then just drop down. Nice. One more time. Pull the shoulder back. Engage, dig into the fingertips a little bit, pull the underside ribs away from the floor and lift the hips. This is certainly optional. You can take the upper arm up if you like. Notice if the low back is over curling and then lower it down. Hang in there with me. I know this can be really tough on those wrists, so shake out the wrists. We're going to stretch them out in a minute. Switch sides. Whew. So it's interesting in yoga, one of the problem areas for a lot of people in yoga are the wrists, right? They get real cranky when we're like this all the time and weight bearing. But think about that weight bearing from wrist to shoulder to collarbones, right? Building bone all this time. So you're on your other hand. So I'm mirroring here. So you're on your right arm. The inner elbow goes toward the thumb. The bicep muscle goes toward the thumb. The shoulder externally rotates. Already I feel stronger. The ribs move away. 1, you're just hanging out here. And this is good too, because you're working that body. Or 2, take the hips off the floor. So now we're putting a ton of weight. Think of, arm balances or side plank, which we may visit later. Now, if your wrists are screaming, and I should have said this on the other side, I want you to drop to elbow instead. Everybody lower the hips. And let me just demo that. If you're on elbow, I have my pinky finger toward the floor. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to roll the shoulder. I'm going to press either palm of hand or pinky side and lift that way. Me personally don't like it as much, but equally effective in working this concept of shoulder strength, latissimus dorsi, all that stuff. So let's do this one more time. Plant the hand, roll the shoulder, draw the shoulder blade down the back, move the ribs away from the floor, and lift the hips. Optionally, take the arm up. Big deep breath. Notice where you have your weight on that hand and wrist. What happens if you shift back slightly? What happens if you shift forward slightly? Anything change there? And then lower that down, everybody. And then just come to a little seat again. Again, the legs, what you do with the legs is okay with me. So cross-legged, straight-legged, all that good. And then take your fingers and spread. And then squeeze them and curl the wrists. That's the area right there. Good. Straight, spread, curl, and curl. One more. Spread, squeeze, and curl. Whoo! And shake them out. And then grab your wrist right at the base of the hand and squeeze. This actually feels really good to me. And then just work down the forearm a little bit. Good. Go back up, work down. Shake that out. Go to the other side. Squeeze. Work your way down. Squeeze. Work the way down. Good. Shake that out. Move them around. And if you're on wrists again and it really is irritating, just don't hold the pose as long or drop to your elbow. So let's go back to the same side. You're going to plant your hand or elbow. You're going to roll the elbow, right? You're going to keep all of that shoulder down. You're going to draw the shoulder. You're going to draw the shoulder blade down. And then you're going to lift up to those knees. Listen up. Here's the change. And sorry for my lovely lady out there who this is probably way hard on that knee. Take the top knee forward. Draw the hips. Press in. Find your breath. That's all we're doing. So bottom knee is down, Celeste. Bottom knee is down. Foot is turned to the side. Breathe and just lift up that hip and then lower down. Yep. And switch sides. You're on those hips. You're stacked. Remember, you can come to that first exercise. The right hand's down, the shoulders back, the thumb is pointing or the elbow's pointing to the thumb. You know those cues by now. You're going to lift up and then you're just going to step the top foot forward. Press the hips away from the floor. Yeah. Breathe. This is probably a really funky one to do on a Zoom, right? And then lower the hip. Ooh. Switch sides. I won't hold as long, so that'll be a little more gentle on the wrists, I think. All right, so here's phase 3. 1, you're here. You're going to stay there. You might stack and lift the hips. Phase 2, we're going to do that move, right? So we lift the hips and we stack the foot. Phase 3, we're going to lift and extend. This is a variation of Vasisthasana or side plank. All right. So we got choices. We're excited. You can do this on elbow. Okay. Elbow to forearm. Just don't put all your weight on the elbow itself. So let's play. Shoulder back, shoulder blade down, hands pressing. I'm even clawing my fingers a little bit. I'm going to stack and lift. And then I'm going to step forward. This foot forward is like your training wheel on your bike when you were a kid. You're going to use that. And then maybe you extend the bottom. I know this is a heck of a way to start class. And then maybe you take that arm up, that top arm up, and press, 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 everybody. Strong pose, strong pose. Let the hand come back to the hip. Drop the bottom hip. And let go. Switch sides. I can see this is a super exciting one. I'm just looking at the crowd out here. They're like, seriously, Mary? This is our last one, I promise. You may see side plank later, but this is the last one for now. Plant the hand. So what I'm trying to teach, right, is the foundation. Whether you stay here or take it to that third step, the foundation is this. The shoulder rolls back and the shoulder blade draws down. So you feel that back muscle work. When you're ready, move the ribs out. Lift the hips. Feel that. That might be enough. Take your top knee, your top foot, step it forward. Press the hips away from the floor. If you want, extend out through that leg. I was a little short on my front hand, so that was tricky. Reach the arm up. Breathe, squeeze, smile. Hand back to hip. Bend the bottom knee, drop the hip. And let go. Holy moly. Yeah, that was a favorite. That was a crowd favorite. Come back to a seat. Interlace your hands. Press out, drop the shoulders. Yeah, it got warm. And just feel that. And then turn the palms to each other and separate. Take them in, press them out. Take the palms together, open and spread. Ooh, good. One more. Press it out. And then palms together, open the fingers and shake it out. Good job, everybody. I know that was a tough way to start class, but we got it over with. Come on back to your hands and your knees. Plant your hands, elbows toward thumbs, shoulder blades down your back, downward facing dog. Woo, good. Once you're in down dog, really reach out of those wrists and fingers while keeping the shoulder blades nice and engaged, and pedal out your feet. Just stretch it out. Stretch, stretch, stretch. And then hold the pose and think about that upper back, upper body, downward facing dog, not so much pressure on the wrists. If you're heavy in your wrists here, I would suggest you bend your knees and allow the upper body to stretch more. Chances are your hamstrings are just really tight. Good. And then take your feet to the edges of your yoga mat. Walk your hands all the way back. Move your blanket out of the way if it happens to be on your mat. Pause here. Nice forward fold. Easy, easy. Watch that back. Always support your hands either on the floor or on your legs. And then bend the knees nice and deep. Take your hands to your knees. Lift from your chest. No upper back rounding. And take it all the way up and roll it out. Good. Turn sideways on your mat. Let's go wide. Let's go wide. And look at your feet once you've done that and see if they're pretty much on this parallel line. They make yoga mats now that have lines on them, and they're kind of sweet. I don't have one, but they show you where your alignment is and what your habit patterns are. So allow the toes to turn out slightly, and then just bend the knees and rock a little side to side. Just a little bit side to side. And find a way that your feet look pretty parallel to each other. And I don't mean straight parallel, but even, maybe even with each other, not one turned out more than the other, that you can sit back in your pose. Your hands are on your hips. Here's the tricky part. See if you can lift the toes in ball mound of one foot without over shifting. So remember, we started class working the ankles. So today's class is ankles and wrists, right? Super important joints. And drop that down. Good. Try not to overshift. Try to lift the other toes. Yeah, you're on the heel of your foot. Yeah, I know. It's tricky. It doesn't go very far, does it? Belly is toned in. The chest is tall. The spine is really long. Drop that down. Lift the heel of the first side foot. Right? Stretching and engaging. You should feel that calf muscle going, woohoo, right? Breathe, lower, lift the other. See if you can find that. Lower, lift the toes again of the first side. And lower, you notice I've had you in a squat for a pretty long time. Good, lift the other foot. Lower, lift one heel. Lower, lift the other heel. Lower, optional, lift both heels. This is a balance pose. Breathe. You don't have to do it, but you could try. You could lift and lower both pretty quickly. Woo! Lower both heels and stand up. Nice job, everybody. Turn the toes so they're pointed a little more to the front, but be mindful of your particular knees. When you squat, the knees and the feet should be lining up and the knees aren't rolling in. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, elbows down. Little squat. You don't have to go that deep. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, try to sit back in the chair. Keep that chest tall. Good. Inhale. Exhale. Good. 2 more. Inhale, reach up. Squeeze your glutes. Exhale, down. Last one. Inhale. Exhale, down. If you're okay to stay in that squat, hands come to thighs, and then press the shoulders way up to the ears. It's actually called, I think, a horse stance or horse, I don't know why. But the shoulders up, we're really pressing up, and then see if you can lift those heels one more time. Holy moly. Say good morning to your legs. Breathe, drop the heels, drop the shoulders, and stand up. Nice job, everybody. Just shake it out. And then step those feet together. Come on up to the front of your yoga mat. Have your blocks nearby. If you have them, again, I know at least one of you watching doesn't have blocks, so don't worry about it. You can do this without them. Inhale, take it up. Exhale all the way down. Blocks, no blocks. You can place your hands on the blocks or on the floor or on your shins. Soften the knees and step back with your right leg. And breathe. If you have a block, your right hand goes to your block. The left arm goes up to the ceiling. If you don't have a block, your fingertips are on the floor, or you can do soft fist. Good, nice deep breath. Now, think about engaging the shoulder, drawing the shoulder blade down, turning the inner elbow toward your thumb. I know this is all kind of interesting because we're not in that same pose, but engage the shoulder blade, engage the muscles around that shoulder blade. And then reach behind you, reach the arm behind, and see if you can find opposite side waist. Shoulders tall, press through the back leg. Who forgot about their back leg? Uh-huh. Good, release that arm, take it up, press that hand down. Step back to downward facing dog. Spread the fingers, turn the inner elbows toward your thumbs. Engage the shoulders, draw the shoulder blades down. 1, you're here. 2, plank pose. Think about what we've done all the way through class. Inner elbow toward thumb or bicep. The heels are active, the thighs are active, the belly is toned in, and the shoulder blades are pressing down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Downward facing dog. Find your breath. Look through your hands and step forward with your right leg. Again, if you have a block and want to use it, you can take your hand on that block, or you're at fingertips, which I'm demoing here, or soft fist. I like the soft fist as long as your wrist is strong. Take the right arm up to the ceiling. Don't forget about the back leg. In fact, press into the back leg a little bit and put more of the weight right above your heel of your front foot instead of by your toes. Deep breath. Think about turning inner elbow toward thumb and then engaging the shoulder blade. And then just let the hand come back behind you. See if you can find opposite side waist, opening up the chest, drawing the shoulders back. Deep breath, everybody. Release that arm up. Exhale it down to the floor or your chair. Step back, downward facing dog. Use your breath. Think of what we've been playing with in down dog. I'm going to press into the tips of my fingers a little bit. I'm going to draw the inner elbows toward my thumbs. I'm going to pull the shoulder blades down just a little bit. Breathe. And then plank pose. In plank, you might have to lengthen. Lower the knees, everybody. Check the hands, check the elbows. Check the shoulder blades, right? Instead of full plank, half plank. Breathe. Lift the knees, nothing else changes. Full plank. We're warm now, aren't we? Woohoo! Downward facing dog. I know. Hang in there with me. Take those feet wide, wide on your mat. Walk your hands back, all the way back. Bend the knees, press the knees out to an imaginary wall. Hands come to your knees. Lift up and come to standing. And shake it out. So when we focus here, we really work the muscles. And I acknowledge, even for me, feel like I've got pretty strong wrists, but I feel the wrists when I'm on them for a long period of time. So I want you to go ahead and grab a block if you have it. If you don't worry about it. In fact, you can even grab a pillow. This is just to keep the legs active while we mess with our upper bodies. So squeeze your block if you have it, squeeze a pillow if you've got it. Find your feet parallel to each other and breathe. And then hold the hands out, squeeze, and circle. So a lot of times in yoga and just in life, we go, yeah, it hurts, I don't want to do it. Yeah, it hurts, I don't want to do it. And circle the other way. There's a difference between pain and discomfort. I never want you to do things that make it worse, okay? And then shake them all out and let them come down. This one I find harder. You're going to take the back of your hands and you're going to draw them up your armpits. Oh, I hate this one. I don't hate. That's a terrible word. I don't love this one. As the elbows try to descend down, you're going to feel a stretch. And for some of you, that's going to be super uncomfortable. You can lower the hands, less uncomfortable. Okay. Some of you might love this one. It's just tricky because we don't do this in yoga. We're here all day long, but we don't flex the other way. And then just slide them down. Ooh, shake them out. Good. Last one here. You're going to take one hand, make a soft fist. You're going to curl that fist like we did before. Grab with your other hand, try to keep your elbow straight and just pull back. Another really helpful thing is to do forearm workouts using a really light weight. We've done that in class before. We might bring that one back. And release. Other side, soft fist. Hand there, elbow relatively straight, and just curl back. Good. Shake them both out. See? Feels so much better. All right, come on back to the front of your mat. I'm an optimist most of the time. Inhale, take it up. Exhale, slowly come on down. Bend the knees as much as you need to let your fingertips come to the floor. So you might have a nice deep bend. And if that's still too low and you have yoga blocks, grab your yoga blocks and put your fingertips on the yoga blocks, okay? Now I want you to pretend that you're a friendly spider and these fingers are your spider legs, and you're going to press those fingertips into the floor. My knuckles are all bent. I'm not hyperextending any of the knuckles. I'm pressing the very tips of my fingers into the floor. Draw the shoulder blades back. Breathe. And then release that. You can plant the hands as much as you want. Step back, right leg. Your right knee can be on the floor if you would like. If it's up high, really engage the back leg. Take your hands to your knee. Lift your chest. Inhale, reach the arms up. Interlace the fingers and press up. Again, optional. Now notice, right? So I might be really overreaching the front ribs. So instead of trying to pull the ribs in, I'm just going to tuck the belly in and fire up that back glute muscle a little bit more. And then extend out through those arms. Take the hands forward. Release the hands, soft fists. Pull your shoulders back in space. Open up to the sides. Take the hands behind you. Interlace and see if you can press the palms of the hands together. Big deep breath. Good. Inhale up. Exhale all the way down. Plant the hands downward facing dog. Remember, you can bend the knees, especially if your hamstrings are tight. So you take the weight out of the upper body, 50-50, hands and feet. Inner elbows toward the thumbs, shoulder blades engaged. Plank pose. Inner elbows toward the thumbs, shoulder blades engage. Feel that back working. Now lengthen the tailbone, everyone. Fire up the legs like you're squeezing a block. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Down dog. We're almost done with all this. Find your breath. Look through your hands. Step forward, right leg. Once your right leg is forward, remember you can lower the knee to the floor. If you're using a chair, your right leg's forward, your hands are on the chair. When and if you're ready, your hands go to your knee and we lift up to a lunge. Inhale, take the arms up, listen up. You're going to interlace, but then interlace the other way. Other thumb is at the bottom and press up. Notice how that feels really different. Breathe, find your focus. Bring the arms forward, pull the shoulder blades back. Breathe, take the hands to your chest, release into fists. Open them up to the sides, shoulder blades back, and then reach behind. Interlace again. You're going to interlace the same way you always do. So change that interlace. Try to press the palms of the hands together. Feel that big stretch. Nice job. Release, inhale. Exhale, come on down, everybody. Listen up. You're going to step forward. Hands to shins, come halfway up. Lengthen the tailbone, draw the shoulder blades back, and then take it up the rest of the way. Exhale. Take it out. See, hopefully they're feeling better instead of worse, right? As we play, as we keep moving things around, fingers and stuff. So if you have a block, you're going to grab a block. We're going to work on some balance here. So feel free to come to a wall, piece of furniture, a chair. And if you don't have a block, you don't need it, okay? So you're going to take that block between your feet and you're going to walk your feet into that block. So you should feel your big toes on the floor. Your toes are nice and spread out. I'm going to squeeze my inner ankles into my block. Hands come to hips. Find a focus point. Arms can also be out for balance. So squeeze and lift the heels and lower. So the block is kind of interesting, lift, because it gives your legs something to hang on to and usually is easier from a balance perspective. Lift, lower, lift, lower, keep it going. 6, 5, 4. We're going to hold that last one, by the way. 3, 2, 1, and see if you can hold. Squeeze your block. Breathe. Yep. A lot of work for the legs, the ankles, the feet. And lower down slowly. Well done, everybody. Just kick your block aside. Some of you have already done this without your block. So think about the same action. The inner ankles. I always think of a little magnet right between here, not so strong that it collapses the ankles, but strong enough that it pulls them toward each other. Belly's toned in. We're going to do 10 of these, no block. Remember, hands can be here or out here for balance or on something. Here we go. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, make it purposeful. 4, 3, 2, let's see if we can hold that last one for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, slowly lower down. and then just shake it out. So more on the balance end. Again, hand to a wall or a piece of furniture, something stable is perfect. You're going to shift into one leg and point the toes forward. Level out your hips and just lift that pointed toe, that pointed foot. And then flex, point, flex, point, flex, point. Last one, flex, point, circle. This is all balance. Circle the other way. Think about what you can do the next time you're in the grocery store. Yes, ma'am. Good. Flex that foot, straighten the leg, lift out of the standing leg, and then drop it down. Shake it out. We almost always start with our stronger leg. So find your balance, engage, the toes come out. Nice straight ankle if you can. And what we don't want is this kind of sway out of the hip. We want to draw it in, engage the glutes, and then lift the leg. Point, flex, point, flex, point. Yep, two more. Flex, last one, point, flex, circle, big circles, everybody. Circle the other way. Find your balance, squeeze into that standing leg, flex that foot really strong, lift up, and then lower down and shake it out. Last balance pose, pretty basic as far as yoga, tree pose, but I want you to consider what we're doing with that ankle, okay, in this pose. So tree pose, balance challenges, your big toe is going to stay on the floor. If you choose that one, I want you to flex the foot on occasion to take that toe off so you can just tap in and out, which is a really sweet way to gain that balance. Otherwise, your shin or above the knee, doesn't have to be this high, come into your tree pose. I just don't like a heel to an inner knee. Above, below, toe on the floor is good. This hip, we squeeze it in. Now, I just want you to pretend to get those toes off your leg. Okay, toes off. You're not going to move the ball mound, chances are. Hands to heart. Find your balance. Take a deep breath. Just try to pull those toes off your legs. Squeeze your glutes. Optional, arms up. Interlace. Big index fingers point up. Breathe. Good, release. And let it go. Same thing, other side. You're going to turn the leg, turn the foot, external rotation, the hips point forward. And again, I kind of like this as a fun version, right? To teach people to go, okay, you don't have to put your leg all the way up here. A lot of our knees won't like that, but we can certainly balance right there. So either you're here or you're at the low shin or you're above the knee or you're up high, depending on your body. Remember, one hand to the wall, perfect. Hips point forward, hands to heart. Find your balance. Arms up, optional. See if you can interlace the other way. And then index fingers point up. Low belly tones in. We find our breath. Oh yeah, move the toes off the leg if you can. I forgot that one. And release. And set it down. Good. Shake it out, everybody. And then just simple, soft knees, forward fold. If forward folds are hard on your back, I would take elbows. I would just take elbows to knees. Otherwise, your fingers can come to the floor or to your blocks. Deep, deep breath. Just let it go. Good. Hands to your shins. Lift halfway up. Really tone the belly in and then come on up to standing and come on back to the front of your mat. Inhale, take it all up. Exhale all the way down. Downward facing dog. Go ahead and right back. Pause here. Just stretch it out. Stretch out the shoulders. Stretch out all that stuff. And then lower down to your knees. And listen up. We're going to try something here I think will work fine for everybody. We're going to grab a block. Now, if laying on your side hip hurts, I know at least one of you where that won't be a fun thing on one side. If that's the case, or if you would rather, grab your blanket, which is softer, and you would do the same thing. You're going to stack your blanket nice and small and stack it there. Here's what we're doing. You're going to take your block. You can even stack one block in front of the other, and you're going to lay on that block on one side. The worst part of it is getting there. Once you get there, it's okay. And the other, again, another option is to take, so Carrie, turn your block sideways. Yeah. You can put a blanket over your block to make that a little bit more, a little less uncomfortable. So both legs are straight out to start. And you're down on your elbow. You're down on your elbow. And you're going to press these ribs up and away from the floor, right? We played with this on hand. Already this is kind of balancy. Take the top leg and step it forward, just like we did at the beginning of class. You're going to press into your elbow. You're going to squeeze your ribs in. You're going to draw your shoulder blade down. And then you're going to see if you can lift off that block. Simple, simple. It's a side plank variation on elbow. Breathe. Pull the hip away from the block, everybody, and then lower it back down. Keep the legs where they are pressed into your hand. Again, optional. You can do the second one. We're only doing two. You can do it on elbow. You're going to do what? Take this shoulder that wants to roll forward. You're going to pull it back. Inner elbow faces your thumb. The underside ribs engage. You're going to press that bottom foot like you're going to press it into a wall. You're going to take that outside ankle off the floor. And then you're going to push up and lift up. So we were already here first thing to class. We're just playing a little bit different here. So squeeze in, press the foot, the ball mound, the big toe mound of your long leg, press that into an imaginary wall. There you go, Celeste, beautiful. Reach, take the top arm up. Extend that hand back down, drop your hip to the block and release it, come back down to your elbow. We're almost there. You're gonna stack, or you're gonna stagger your feet. You're gonna take your top leg forward. You're gonna push your feet away, or your ankles are gonna move away from the floor. You're back to elbow. We're only doing this one. You're gonna squeeze in, squeeze the shoulder blade down. See if you can lift off your block. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower. Holy moly. Come on up. Be gentle, switch sides. So think about what we're doing. Think about how strong your shoulders, your upper back muscles, latissimus dorsi, the rotator cuff muscles that surround the shoulder, 4 of them, all getting stronger and stronger. Biceps getting stronger, wrists, right, forearms. Bingo. That's what we're doing, my friends. So here we are on the other side. We're on the elbow. First, we stack the legs just so we can find this side line. And then we're going to take the top foot. We're going to press it forward, just like we were before. Pull the low ribs in. Think about this standing, I call it the standing shoulder. Is it rolling forward? If it is, press it back and think of that inner elbow facing your thumb. Yep. From here, press the big toe mound away from you, that long legs. big toe mound. Get that ankle off the floor and see if you can lift the hips. They're only going to lift a couple inches, right? Breathe. You got this. Squeeze the glute. Try not to let the head drop down to the floor. And lower down. Whew. Keep the legs where they are. Press up into your hand. Inner elbow faces the thumb. Shoulder rolls back. Shoulder blade draws down. You should feel that integration of the shoulders. You're going to use this training wheel we got right here, right up front, right? We're going to use that to press the hips off the floor, press the ankle away from the floor, press the hips off your block, and take the arm up optionally. I love the training wheel, right? It helps us press those hips away from the floor. And then exhale, come on down. Woo! Lower to the elbow for the last one. You might start by stacking the feet and then take the top leg forward. You can even take the back leg back slightly. It's like the legs are scissored. I find this one the most challenging. Pull the ribs in, bring the shoulder blade away, press into the edges of your feet, and lift the hips for 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower. Oh, come on, up, out, get off of that hard block. If you had a cork block, that was even harder. Yep. All right, we're gonna lay on our sides and come on down. Your bottom arm makes a pillow for your head. If your head drops too low, you can use a block here, right? Just under your side of your head. That can be a nice alignment too. And then stack your feet one on top of the other and breathe. So I've just fired up my legs. I've got the legs stacked. I'm flexing my feet. My hips are directly stacked one on top of the other. The top arm goes overhead and toward the floor. If your block just happens to be there, that's fine. You can rest your hand on your block. But otherwise, it just drapes down over your head. Notice if your behind is poking back. And if it is, press the hips forward. Good. Breathe. Release that arm. Come onto your belly. And then just switch sides. Easy, easy. You're back. You're on your other side. The legs are stacked. The belly is toned in. Find your breath. Reach the top arm overhead. Third part here is staying sideways. It actually ends up being a balanced pose. Breathe. Release. Come onto your bellies fully. Oh, make a pillow for your forehead and just pause here and rest. So I've got my forehead stacked on my hands. My tailbone is long. My legs are long. Breathe. Notice. Good, release and just come into Sphinx pose. And Sphinx is just a lovely, much more accessible back bend. So in Sphinx pose, your elbows are under your shoulders, your hands and wrists are straight out from the elbows. If your low back is chatty, just walk the elbows a little forward so that you take some of that pressure off the low back. And then the other thing that really helps, 2 things: feet wider makes a huge difference for some with their low backs, and 3, drawing the low belly in and lengthening the tailbone. So we're in Sphinx pose, lovely back bend, come out at any point, but I'm looking at my hands one more time and I'm spreading the fingers out a little bit. I'm broadening through the collarbones, and then I'm just going to lift my hands off the floor, but keep the wrists down. Press into your forearms. and lower. Good. 4 more. So lift, lower, lift, down. 3, 4. Yep. Try to press them back. 5 and down. Turn your palms face up. Pause. You're still in a good Sphinx, so try not to get too slouchy. And then bring those palms of the hands toward your biceps. 1, that's harder. 2, 3, try to bring them in. 4, 5, stay there. Curl your fingers, soft fist, and curl. 5, 4, 3, almost done. 2, and 1. Good. Lower down, everybody. Pause. You're going to feel those forearms later and go, what did we do in yoga that's making my forearms sore? Shake it out. Take the feet a little wider on your mat if they're not already. I want you to take those hands way out to the sides. I'm off my yoga mat. Gonna bend the elbows and I'm just gonna press up. And see if I can find a nice stretch for the front of the body. Draw the shoulders down. I love playing with back bends in this manner. I'm just gonna lower. I'm gonna move my hands. I'm gonna lower. I'm gonna move my hands. Maybe they're forward. So we often think of yoga back bends as Sphinx, Cobra, and Up Dog as far as prone back bends. Locust is another one. But maybe you can play with all kinds of movement in your lower back, in your upper back, by just playing and finding a spot that feels good. Good, a few more, just a few more. Again, if back bends are not good for your back, I would suggest a nice low Sphinx so you don't lose it altogether. And lower down. Good. Pause. We are almost done, my friends. Shake out those hips. We got 1 left. I know. She's like, what? Come up to your elbows. Interlace your hands. The elbows are under your shoulders. You're going to press down into the shoulders. Engage. 1, you're just going to hang out here. You've had quite enough for one day. 2, you're going to flip your toes under. Lengthen your tailbone a whole bunch. So that's choice number 2. Choice number 3, lift up. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower down. Sweet. Roll over to one side. Just pause, bend your knees. This is a little side laying. It's almost like a fetal pose. It kind of is fetal pose, I suppose. But I like this after back bend so that we don't over curl the back after arching it. Just pause a moment here. Big deep breath. And then roll onto your back. Your knees are bent, your feet are on the floor. The shoulders descend down. Go ahead and just take the arms out to T position with your palms face up. Arms are out, T position, palms are face out. Nice, easy, nice, easy. So 1, you're here. 2, the knees are going to come toward your chest. And you're going to slowly lower the knees to one side and come into a twist. You can always take a block either underneath your bottom knee or between the knees to help. Keeping the shoulders down toward the floor. Your neck, your head, your spine are nice and neutral. Deep breath. Whichever way your knees are pointed, take the other side arm and let it reach overhead. We did a lot of work in the chest and shoulders, so this is just a little stretch here. It should feel like a really comfortable stretch, a really kind stretch. Breathe. Try to keep the chin somewhat level. And then take that arm that's overhead back out to T position. Bring your top knee up first and then your bottom knee. Try to keep those knees at or above the waist or of the hips, and then lower them to the other side. Arms are out at T position. The shoulders are descending. Even here, a nice light stretch for the chest. Just breathe. Whichever way the knees are pointing, that opposite side arm goes up. It's a gentle up. It can be more diagonal. It doesn't have to be straight up. The elbow is soft. Feel the breath flow through you gently, easily. And take that arm back out to T. One knee up and then the other knee up. Your feet back to the floor. Draw your right knee to your chest. Take the hands underneath your knee. Straighten the left leg. And then maybe take that right leg straight up toward the ceiling, using your hands to support that leg. And then maybe just one more big point of your toes, and then a nice flex, and then a nice circle one direction and the other direction. And then the foot is neutral, the leg just stretching. Switch sides, bring the left knee in, straighten the left leg nice and long, hands are behind your knee. Pause there. Straighten the leg if you'd like. Point your toes. Flex your foot. Nice big circle one direction and circle the other direction. Bring your knee to your chest. Bring your other knee to your chest. Both legs up to the ceiling. Just use your hands, your arms to support them. Point both toes, both feet. Flex both feet. Bend both knees. Bring them into chest. And then straighten one leg nice and long to the corner edge of your mat. Straighten the other leg nice and long to the corner edge of your mat. And allow the palms of your hands to come down and up. They're up, facing up, the arms down to your sides. And find Shavasana. Feel your shoulders soften down. Feel the belly go soft. Feel the body integrate your practice today in Shavasana. Soften down even more. See if you can let go even more. Start to wiggle your toes. Start to wiggle your fingers. Maybe circle your wrists. And then bend one knee and then the other. Pause there. Draw your knees toward your chest. And allow the knees to roll over to one side or the other. Just pause for a moment here in fetal pose. That was a particularly nice Shavasana. And as you're ready, go ahead and press up, everybody. Oh, and find a seat. Let's inhale, take the arms up. Exhale your hands to your heart. Bow to your own inner wisdom, that goodness that emanates from our hearts to everyone else's. Namaste. Thank you, everybody. Have an awesome day.